Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Labor Day in the United States, Monday, September 3rd, and we need to get some victories, and since I'm trying to speed things up, I'm going to play on casual on the Shaman, and then I can move over to the Asian account. So, not wild, casual, even Shaman play. Let's see. We didn't have a ton of news, so in theory, I could be done with all the news in an hour. If that becomes the case, I think I will just play off screen to get the rest of the daily quest done. It could be that there's a lot of news on Wednesday. It could be that there's just not going to be a lot of news this week at all. So, both of those are things to think about. I've got a game on Steam called Azrael's Circle Chapter 1, A-Z-U-R-A-E-L. It's a free-to-play RPG maker game. It says it's just free in general. So the price is right, but it still is an RPG maker game, and it still looks like garbage. So, interesting. Chapter 2 is 20% off for $1.59.
None will survive.
This developer has made about 4 other games and none of them have been rated. But yeah, that looks definitely a lot not that good. GameIndustry.biz has a sponsored article, which I don't know what you do there. Like, somebody paid to put an article in your news website. That's just not ethical at all. But somehow this exists. So, Abstraction Games calls for better programmer pay. Sponsored article: developer and porting expert discuss challenges around attracting and retaining specialist staff. So, inherently, a porting, a developer that's like a third-party developer and a person who's a development team that just ports games for the less important versions of a game would be the ones making this argument a lot more than Ubisoft or Electronic Arts or Microsoft or any of the big AAA developers with in-house development teams. The idea also is, I imagine, Abstraction Games, if they are paying their programmers better, they can then charge the people that hire them to port games a little bit more, and they can probably skim a little bit off the top, which is basically how business works these days. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. Abstraction Games says it plans to increase the pay of its programmers in an effort to attract more talent from abroad and encourage more coders to join the games industry. From what I hear, being a programmer in any other industry besides video games pays a lot more, and there's a lot better hours and just better treatment in general. So, yeah, it totally makes sense that they may, at this level, have decided that it's necessary to just pay the programmers more. Report Specialist, which is now creating its own internal projects, says expecting programmers to choose the game industry based purely on their passion for the subject is not enough anymore. Quote, passion for games is what ultimately motivates folks working in our industry, and employers back in the day benefited from it. Another quote, and it became the norm to rely on that. It's time we break the mold and recalibrate. Of course, without trading in healthy work ethics, atmosphere, and fun working in this industry, and so on. Is an interesting question about how fun does a work environment have to be, or how fun should it be in the video game industry. maybe it should be a little bit fun. I would say it shouldn't be a nightmare. Like, I've never, at least I can't recall any nightmare scenarios where games came out and they were extremely good and that continued to happen. You could say some of the Japanese games, like the first games in their series, came out really good, but eventually they got bad. I'm thinking like Metal Gear Solid and Konami.
One shot, one kill. Winter is here.
Should have played that. Scroll down the rest of this article. Let's see. There's a quote here: I've had quite a few talented programmers that I've offered jobs to who passed on the opportunity in order to work in some IT firm on the dull database systems. There's a quote: but ultimately good programmers are scarce. There's a huge demand and we're having a super hard time attracting programmers with the right set of skills and personality. We're not the only ones in this situation, so we as an industry need to make a change. We as a company are taking the first step. I kind of hate the thought that I personally could be a programmer and could do the job, and then I wouldn't get hired because I didn't match the personality that they're looking for. Like, he put it right there in the statement. It's like, you have to have the right set of skills and personality. Why can't the person just have the right set of skills? Like, why do they have to have a personality? What does that even really boil down to? Is it, do they have to be an SJW? Or is it, did they just have to be somewhat professional and not a total jerk? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of video game programmers are total jerks anyways, and you just have to put up with that. I think in IT, the IT stereotype is that a lot of people in IT are total jerks, and that just comes with the territory. But in general, getting away from that side statement, Abstraction Games sounds like they're doing the right thing, maybe for some vested interests, to try to call for better programmer pay. It seems weird that they're paying, I assume this is Abstraction Games paying GameIndustry.biz to write this article. Like, why did they have to pay this when you could have just said, hey, we want to talk to you about this, and had a regular news article? Would GameIndustry.biz, is GameIndustry.biz so pro video game industry that they're anti-paying programmers? Did they have to be bribed into doing it instead of just being, you know, news reporters who would report news or would write articles when people offer an interview? I suppose there are a lot of people that offer interviews to news sites, and the news sites just never respond to them or never get back to them. That might be the case. Alright, we've got a game on Steam called Mosaics Galore 2. It's 40% off for $2.99. I'm still not... I don't think these mosaics make any sense as a video game. They're like super basic ideas of putting really simplistic puzzle pieces on the ground, on the mat, and making a puzzle. But it's not like a jigsaw puzzle with 100 pieces. It's more just random shapes, and you have about 20, it would seem. Yeah, an uninteresting looking game, so I'm gonna close that. We have Amber's Airline High Hopes. This is one of these games that's aimed, I think, at extremely young girls. It's one of these games where usually what you're doing is you're running a restaurant and serving food, but they've expanded the game in this instance to run security and and be a stewardess on the flight, which seems really weird. And it seems like she might have a home section that she plays to. Anyways, Amber's Airlines High Hopes is 25% off at $9.74. If it was like a $2 game, it'd probably be right on the same level of so many other games that are just tied at tied on that same level, doing the same thing, but it's just asking too much. And they really just blend on top of everything, every other game. This developer has made several games that are basically the exact same thing. Part of the problem is those games are just too short and broken up. If they were combined together in one longer experience game with a lot less of the grinding gameplay element, which is pointless and boring, and they just tried to tell the stories that they barely weave into each game, you could have something that's a little bit more interesting. Something almost like a 2D version of Shenmue would be a weird way of describing it. Well, I put that on the wrong side. Gematsu has an article. Didn't see a lot of Gematsu articles today. The Caligula Effect Overdose for PS4 is coming to Asia in English on October 31st. What this gets me is that it probably means the Caligula Effect is not coming to the West, and that kind of sucks. Or at least maybe this is Caligula Effect Overdose, so maybe that's a different game. So people in the West can import it and play it, and it will be in a moderately, roughly translated state. It probably won't be horrible, but it won't be great. That'll be the best you can probably get. The Caligula Effect is a weird, I think it's an RPG where everybody is wearing, everything is animated in black, white, and red. Yeah, it says it's an RPG. Certainly caught my eye every time I saw it, and having a name like the Caligula Effect certainly was an interesting name. Let's do that, and then let's do that, and just that. So yeah, if it ever comes to Steam, if I can ever play it, it's something that would interest me. This Gematsu article is very interesting on a whole different angle. Card Captor Sakura Happiness Memories has been announced for smartphones. So it was presented, the presentation is set for the Tokyo Game Show 2018, which I guess hasn't happened yet. No, it happens, Tokyo Game Show happens September 21st, so we'll get a bunch of Japanese announcements on September 21st or so. Which explains maybe why we haven't been hearing too much from the Japanese developers in the past couple of weeks, with a slight exception of SNK tag team heroines. It's very weird to think back and remember when Card Captors and Card Captor Sakura came to the West, to the United States, and it was a pretty big deal, moderately big deal, but it was so long ago that there really wasn't video game tie-ins, and if there were video game tie-ins in Japan, they weren't going to come to the West. And since then, Card Captor Sakura has rebooted. It's been out, I think, for maybe a year, half a year now. It continues the story. Sakura is older and by a couple of years, and it's just kind of continuing her life and story as a sequel series called Card Captor Sakura Clear Cards, which I'm pretty sure they're selling some actual clear cards that they figured out how to do that.
Truth is my shield.
Summon an elemental. Let's see if we can attack in the next turn. So there's no talk about what kind of game this is, whether it's going to be some kind of collectible card game, or that would maybe make sense, or if it's just going to be a puzzle game or a gym matching game or play the weight game. I'm playing like 5 play the weight games, all from the same developer that made Klepto Cats, which is this series where you have those Tamagotchi-esque cats that will go out and steal something from the outside world and decorate your house with the items that they find, which is an interesting idea, at least. And so there's Klepto Cats, Klepto Cats 2, there's Klepto Dogs, and there's like a couple of games from this developer that they've abandoned. And I stupidly installed like almost everything they had, this developer had made, just to see how they are. And I've spent the whole weekend now bouncing between my cell phone every 20 minutes saying, oh yeah, some timer is run down, it's time to go back and set something else up to happen. So that might be what the Card Captor Sakura Happiness Memories game is, who knows. Let's charge Divine Fury. Let's kill this one. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to uninstall half of those games, if not all of them. Also, Clash Royale is still playing that. Its September update is setting up some new features, changing how the clan wars work, and adding in trade tokens so you can trade between clans members, and changing how they announce the levels to try to make it a little bit easier for new players. They're also introducing a new character, which they do pretty consistently. I'm almost to the point with Clash Royale where I'm as high as I think I can go. Like, there are 2 legendary characters that I have not found. I am stuck at level 10, and I get to level 11 and then I lose a lot and get back to level 10. Of course, I've been playing Clash Royale for maybe 3 or 4 years, and on a daily basis, so it's really, really difficult to get any further, particularly without paying money, which I haven't put any money in it yet, and I don't think I ever would. Moving on, though, we've got a game on Steam called The Ball Encounter. It says it's a free-to-play game. It seems almost like it's trying to be something like a first-person mage World of Warcraft style game, but then also some kind of game where you're knocking orbs around and almost like a sports-like event. And you can switch between a mage of swords, a sword, or a staff, and these orbs seem to have different effects. I swear, if I don't get a victory here, I'm gonna switch over to the European account because I don't want to bang my head against just trying to get victories. Alright, this game is in English and simplified Chinese. It's free to play. It doesn't look great, but it isn't terrible. I don't know if yeah, we talked about this last stream, how China came out and gave their reason for why they're not approving games in China, and frankly, now they're not approving games, even Chinese games in China, because they say it's to stop myopia from spreading and bad eyesight in Chinese kids. I would argue that if there's a larger number of bad eyesight amongst children in China, it's because of poor nutrition, poor medical health, and poor air quality. I don't think it really has too much with strain on video games. But I imagine that's not even really the real reason why they're doing it. They're just cracking down on all forms of entertainment and everything. Yeah, this game, The Ball Encounter, does not look interesting enough for me to play it. My point there, though, was, yeah, we've hit a point on Steam where games that would have only been released on Wii Game, Tencent's mobile platform that's way more popular in China, are now having to pivot and release on Steam. And these games never really stood up in quality. So it's just that the better games that the rest of the world was playing were not allowed in China. So now that they have to compete on a even playing field, or at least slightly even playing field, they really don't stand up. So yeah, 3 games with the Druid and Hunter, and 2 games with the Priest. I had a watch and learn or something, and that's what this pack is. So let's open that. Oh, I really hate this card back too. Nothing. A golden rare. I wonder if your odds of getting a golden card go up when you don't get higher quality cards. Well, one of those actually was the card I needed on the European account. Interesting. So which of these 6 cards that are marked? That could have been it. Here we have a golden. Were we disenchanting goldens? On the European account, I believe we were. So yeah, disenchant that and get 100 dust. That'll work a lot better. And I've had these cards for a long time. See, even when I mark things red, they're still not here. Okay, so we need to play Druid or Hunter. Let's play a little Hunter. Death Rattle Hunter, rank 23, let's go. PC Gamer has an article. The Blackout Club stars a terrifying monster that wouldn't work without co-op. The shape is an invisible force that mirrors the monsters from It Follows. Which I didn't watch the movie It Follows, but I think I understand the general idea of it. I saw some reviews of it, like somebody saying basically It falls apart because all you'd have to do is spray paint the creature that's following, and or put a sheet over it, and then everybody would see that there was something there, even if they couldn't see that there was something there because it had a physical form. Or at least that was something that was not addressed and probably should have been addressed. As far as what this game looks like to me, the Blackout Club, it looks like it's running around in the dark with a flashlight and a camera. Well, a camera that acts as a flashlight, and it seems like it has a flashlight mode and a record mode. I don't know, that the idea on the face of it doesn't sound terrible. That you would have a game where you're trying to record evidence. That seems like that's the goal. But the implementation on something like that would have to be really good. And in this implementation, it seems like seems like you almost play as the monster. Let's see. What's weird about this article, this PC Gamer article, is that there's just like nothing here. There's no link, there's no announcement date, so this is just another one of these hype game articles that the Blackout Club probably won't even come out for 6 months. So let's move on. We have a game on Steam, Chicken VR. Chicken VR is a virtual reality first-person chicken simulator. You can teleport around and explore, eating food, drinking water, and laying eggs. Alright. So, the gimmick is slightly amusing for about half a second. And then reality sinks back in and you realize that you're just wandering around the place at a different height than what you would be normally. And at a different height, at a shorter height, look closer to ground, you would inherently need the ground textures to look a lot better. That is not the case in this extremely low effort asset flip game. It's 30% off for $2.09. The fact that it's not even $5 for a VR game should tell you how low the quality is. Every single screenshot I see is just textures that are not at a high enough quality for a VR game or a regular game. Like, not high enough quality for any kind of game. Alright. So we need to play something like this.
Access denied.
They transformed my guy. And that sucks. Next we have a game on Steam called Rogue Party. It looks like a first year video game programmer's project. It's really bad looking. It is 3D, which is to say something, but it's really bad low polygon 3D animations. Like, whoever they got to animate this game was not qualified, but yeah, again, it could have easily just be assets combined together. Rogue Party is 99 cents. It's not even worth that. Let's see. If we do this.
Deploying countermeasures.
Next we have a game called Danger Room VR. says Danger Room VR is a short and frantic VR game. Players will have to master the reflexes and skills to reach the goal. Try and collect as many knowledge balls as possible while avoiding the multiple traps awaiting you. This is one of those VR trailer videos I'm looking at where most of it is just footage of people playing the VR game at some PAX or something. Let's see if we can... Okay, the next trailer probably tells you. Says it tells you how to play. Let's see, deal 2 damage, summon a goblin bomb. Destroy drones with your laser gun before they shoot you. So you're just in this room and you're shooting these balls. They're floating around. And then there's some lasers that come at you, and there's some other spikes that come towards you. Floating mines. Yeah, this is really just a combination of 3 ideas. So that you are moving around in a VR game. It's free, so I guess Danger Room VR is probably worth playing at that price point. But in general, I think you'd spend 5 to 20 minutes playing Danger Room and then you'd get exhausted. Inherently, that is the double-edged sword of VR, is that either the game wants you to jump around, duck, dodge, lean, do all kinds of things that would probably get somebody hurt eventually, or it wants you to just sit in the same spot and there's no reason for you to be in VR in the first place, or stand in the same spot. Here we have an article. PC Gamer has an article. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is a hell of a lot like Valkyria Chronicles, for good and bad. And then the subtitle is Anime War Never Changes. So let's scroll down and see what their review sums up as. Let's see. I imagine PC Gamer doesn't have anybody that is anywhere close to being a fan of the Valkyria Chronicles series, so the fact that they don't like it doesn't really mean a lot. The last paragraph says, I would like to see Valkyria Chronicles grow more between 2008 and now. Aside from adding a new class, the long-range Grenader, it's a remarkably similar game, but no one else is making bizarre strategy games with ensemble casts set in a fantasy World War II, and that's something I'll welcome more of on PC anytime. It doesn't seem like they have a rating on this or anything else. So yeah, if you like Valkyria Chronicles, you're probably... Oh man. I just lost.
That didn't quite hit the mark.
I just lost. I could have won. I just needed to use my hero power. TechRaptor has an article. Travis strikes again. This is an example, by the way, of me just screwing up completely. Like, there's no excuse for me losing this. TechRaptor has an article. Travis strikes again. No more heroes launching this January. This was... it's not... I don't believe No More Heroes 2 or No More Heroes 3. It's kind of a side game that is just a bunch of retro mini games that's coming out to the Switch. Guess this article is really just a hype article too. There's not saying much in general, and what they are saying is not super helpful. The one thing I'd say is that the trailer for Travis Strikes Again is very, very deceptively made. Extremely, extremely deceptively made. to make you think it's a game that it totally isn't. Moving on, we have a game called Super Shopper. It says it's a fast-paced shopping game. I would say it's a low-effort, silly game where you're rolling a shopping cart around an area trying to collect things on the floor.
Begin.
You're jumping up in your shopping cart, and yeah, I don't know why you'd want to play a shopping game anyways. Like, most people in their real life have to do some amount of grocery shopping. It's a chore. It's not a video game. Regardless of how ridiculous you try to make it, it's still not really that fun. Anyway, Super Shopper is $2.99. Obviously, it's a pass for me. Most of these games, I think, will be. PC Gamer has a article. Gato Roboto. That's G-A-T-O-R-O-B-O-T-O, which I assume is cat or cat robot in Spanish, maybe? They say Gato Roboto is a black and white cat Metroidvania. And then it's got a trailer. And I see black and white things.
Job's done.
So you seem to be playing a cat. You seem to be in a Metroidvania-esque area that it feels very much like if somebody was trying to make a black and white Metroidvania Game Boy game. It looks like almost a direct copy. And it seems like the cat can get out of the robot suit and solve some puzzles, and then he has to get back in the robot suit. I don't know, if this game wasn't black and white, I'd be more interested in it. But as current state, the way it looks, it's just not interesting enough visually. Like, it'd be very, very hard to justify playing a black and white game. And again, this is just a hype game. There's no announcement here of when it's coming out or anything like that. Nobody's linking to anything. Nobody's being helpful. Let's see. And this. And this.
I hunt alone.
Deploying countermeasures.
There we go. We got a game on Steam called Koi Solitaire. Seems like it's some weird form of solitaire where the cards are on a chain that's moving from one point to an end point, and you have to match the cards before, I guess, they run off the edge of the board, would be my guess. Let's see. Does this have a death rattle trigger it? No. So I'm gonna play this.
Engaged.
Deploying
Attack here.
countermeasures.
Attack there. Koi Solitaire looks like a Windows 95 game. Doesn't look as bad as some of the asset flips that are brand new, but it also doesn't look great either. And it's $7.99. That's just asking way too much. This is from a developer who's made just a handful of things, and it doesn't seem like many of them have been rated. Let's see. Let's play this.
I
this.
wonder what this does.
Until low.
And we'll just end the turn here. Your Gamer has an article, Zelda Twilight Princess tested under official Tegra X1 emulation. What does the NVIDIA Shield version tell us about the prospective retro Switch releases? I believe this is emulation on the NVIDIA Shield only for China, which who knows what they're going to do with that now. Yeah, Your Gamer had to import it from China, and it's a Digital Foundry video. Let's skip to the bottom part of this. Last paragraph says, so is this approach a preview of emulation experience that's heading to the Switch at some point? We must remember the Shield does run Tegra X1 with higher CPU and GPU clocks than the Switch. Did not realize that, actually.
Deploying countermeasures.
Until low.
Though its Android overhead is onerous, a disadvantage the console hybrid sidesteps gracefully thanks to NVIDIA's NVM graphics API. But the fact that the emulation exists at all, and far more than a limited Chinese release for just 4 Wii titles would warrant. I misread that sentence. I think the resolution bump is prodigious, but it's the idea of Nintendo tweaking the experience via game code updates that's so intriguing. As a proof of concept, Shield's Wii emulator is really impressive, and hopefully the immense promise seen here will eventually benefit Switch 2. So yeah, I mean, just as Nintendo is trying to get into the Chinese market like everybody else, China says they're not going to approve as many games.
Deploying countermeasures.
I doubt it's just to spite Nintendo, though. It's probably to spite pretty much everybody. We have a game on Steam called Sharp. This seems like it's a simple, almost Snake game, where
That didn't
you
go as
Snake / Pac-Man type. Whatever it is, it's not very detailed. It's a free game, so it says it has a half-hour-long single-player campaign. Should have hit that one. Yeah, Sharp does not look interesting. We're actually rather close to the end. We've got a couple of these, well, what can you call them? They're lewd sex games that are for some reason being allowed on Steam, even though the better quality ones aren't. And troll developers troll publishers have figured that out. So we have Hinta Shooter 3D, which looks like it's tagged nudity and sexual content and anime. It's, you know what it looks like is if you reskinned Wolfenstein 3D with anime girls and you shoot them not with a gun, but I joke you not, a pickle with 2 small, I'd say, tomatoes on the edge to make a phallic looking weapon that shoots out tomatoes at the enemies. Like, that is what I'm looking at right now. This is not something I thought I would ever see in my life, and it looks really, really bad. Like, this is something that you could have easily probably done with just a Wolfenstein 3D mod too. Didn't need to be its own game, but it is its own game because they want to be able to scam people one way or the other. Let's see, it's 40% off for 59 cents. It has no achievements on it. So yeah, it's apparently gonna have some DLC. Yeah, it has DLC for $2.99. So that's where they probably get you.
Job's done.
And I half suspect all the art in the game is stolen. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Heavy Dreams. It says it's an action indie simulation game. This trailer says is showing me something that looks like full motion video, so I don't think that's really what this game is. It's mixed reviews, 42% positive of 33 users, and came out September 1st. So people have played this game and already determined they don't like it. The actual game looks like you're just playing something that looks like Windows 95 operating system, and you're, I don't know, messing around or looking around on operating system. The game is free, and even at free it can't even get 50% positive reviews, which tells you something, so ignore Heavy Dreams. PC Gamer has an article. This is kind of one of those hype train articles. The classic style adventure game background art of Unavowed, worthy of a point and click. So they're showing a couple of pictures of some background art, which Unavowed's background art does look pretty. I'm not denying that for a second, but I don't really think you need to write an article about the background art of something. And this article is super short. It's like 2-3 paragraphs, just so that they could link to 5 or 6 pictures. We have another one of these troll games called World Hentai. Tag sexual content, casual nudity, indie strategy. It's in, assumedly it says it's in every language. Let's see. They say it's a set of various casual games, so there's like no consistency even on what kind of game it is. Which kind of explains why I'm seeing different things. Seems like mostly though it's slide tile puzzles. Again, all the art probably stolen. This has 63 achievements, with each achievement seeming to be a different anime girl's face, which, ooh, I bet you could convince a lot of suckers to buy a game just to have those achievements spotlighted on their Steam page. Man, I am not getting anywhere. What else do we need to do? Let's try Druid. And let's drop it down to casual. And play. World Hentai is 40% off for 59 cents. Not worth getting. Like, there's better sources if you want this stuff, and you can get it for free. Next we have a game on Steam called Spite. It says it's an action indie survival game. Let's see, Set in the post-apocalyptic times where nuclear war is going throughout the globe with zombies and monsters running around. It's a wave-based survival game. The waves go up to 25. You can get 26. You have to beat one of the levels. There are currently 7 levels. So this is a low-effort asset flip. I think they probably combined the assets with a little bit of concern and effort here, but not much. Like, inherently, any wave-based zombie game, though, it's not going to work. You're not going to sell me on that. The one wave-based zombie game I might play would have been from something like Gears of War or AAA developer, not some no-name developer. Spite is 40% off for $5.99, and they call their company Budget Labs, which is a terrible name. Like, I seriously don't think many people want the budget versions of AAA games. You don't want to watch the budget version of Star Wars. You don't want to watch the budget version of Star Trek. You want to have that common experience with everyone else. We've got a game on Steam called Beast Modon, M-O-D-O-N. It's an action indie shoot 'em up arcade 2D game, but it looks like it has MS Paint graphics too, so it looks awful. It's 40% off for $4.79. I think the price is too high for that by far. We have a game on Steam called Galaxy Top Wing. It's a VR casual indie game. Let's see what kind of... It looks like it has a pretty bad interface for like a first-person flying around space game. Some of the flying around space looks alright, but it's got some problems too. It's $1.99 for a VR game, which that tells you something. It should tell you something, at least. Let's do this.
Give that minion a turn to get ready.
Close that tab. Gematsu has an article, Cooking and Management Simulation Game, Daihonju Manpuku Marche Gourmet Studio is coming to the Switch. Daihonju is D-A-I-H-A-N-J-O-U exclamation point. Manpuku is M-A-N-P-U-K-U. Marche is M-A-R-C-H-E. Let's see. No, I don't get to look at streams, too many trailers anymore. A lot changes over the course of the year. Well, they let me win because I didn't play fast enough, but I'll take that. Try that again. So I'm looking at this game. It looks like it's kind of just a clicker game. Like, it doesn't look like it's too much of anything else. It's kind of boring looking. It'll be playable at the Tokyo Game Show. I'm not sure it's coming to the West, and if it was going to come to the West, it's just a little too boring in its gameplay mechanic to interest me. Which is an odd thing to say, certainly, because there's a lot of boring dungeon crawlers out there that have art from Japan that would catch my interest, and I might consider playing them at some point just because of the way they look, even knowing that I'd just be playing a terrible dungeon crawler. So I guess it is to say that that game also didn't have any art that interests me. It's more kid-friendly Nintendo stuff. Gematsu has another article. Issei Shima Mystery Guide, The False Black Pearl, coming to the Switch. 3DS version is likely cancelled. This looks again like a NES game. It looks very flatly drawn in an art style I wouldn't call a modern Japanese art style. It looks like some of the very first
Speak your peace.
things that you would have seen from like Astro Boy, which is weird. It's gonna launch via the Nintendo eShop in 2018 for Japan for under 1,000 yen. Yep. So moving on. Gematsu has an article. Citrus Alpha launches in 2019 in Japan. That's CYTUS Alpha. Citrus remake not due out this year. I've never heard of Citrus. CYTUS. They say it will launch for the Switch in 2019. It's a popular rhythm game apparently, with over 20 million worldwide. Interesting. I can imagine a rhythm game at least coming to the eShop in the rest of the world. Let's see. I should have used my hero ability and attacked him. We've got a game on Steam called Draw It 2. I think I've seen Draw It before. It's a physics game. It doesn't look super great. The pencil and paper art style isn't really a problem. It's just that the gameplay style of a physics game is pretty boring. This game includes 99 achievements. It's 10% off for 89 cents. So I don't know how this game got so many achievements and so many other developers weren't approved in achievements. I guess maybe there was something more to this developer. Like, he has released 5 things, well, 4 things, and 3 of them have been rated positively, so maybe that gives you a little bit more slack on achievements. Or maybe it's just a matter of when and who you talk to. Like, it could be as simple as some people at Steam approve more achievements than other people.
Job done.
Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Be Aware, B-E-E. They say it's a casual indie puzzle single player retro game. There's 3 videos on here. And then the screenshots of a game. It seems like it has some bee questions and bee mini games. It's just like a game obsessed with bees. Yeah. I'm seeing several bee themed mini games, none of which look super interesting. It's 65 achievements, 30% off for $3.49. No thank you. See, I do not want to go for a 3rd hour here. I will fully admit, oops, I should have played that, that we're not doing great today. Not really getting any data quests done. But I really don't have enough news, so I'm just going to try and rush through this. PC Gamer has an article. Artifact is not nearly as hard to play as it looks. It's just Magic meets 3 simultaneous games of Uno. I don't know how that would work. All you really need to worry about is playing helpful cards that match the colors of the hero cards in each lane, and the big red number near you and your opponent's towers that determine how much damage they'll take from whatever punches through your respective walls of heroes and creeps and whatever buffs they're packing. The last sentence is, I figured it out in 10 minutes, no sweat, so can you. So apparently, it's
For the wild.
the artifact is easier than it looks. At least according to PC Gamer. So I will want to play Artifact at some point, but I don't want to put any money into it. So there's some weirdness there. Maybe I'll never get around to playing it because of that. Maybe I'll wait till like the first free weekend, which I imagine they would do. Next we have a game on Steam, Electronic Stock Trading System. This looks like a scam, like just a very low effort game. It's just seems like it's maybe some kind of strategy game for stock tradings. A simulator, but it looks horrible. It's $19.99. It is in no way worth that much. I can guarantee you that. Next we have a game on Steam called Chess Cubed, which is a Rubik's Cube where you play chess. I have no idea how that would really work, but somebody has programmed something that at least looks like it does that. And being the way a chess set board is set up, you've got a really big Rubik's Cube happening there too. It's an early access game. It's $9.99. It looks interesting, certainly, but I don't think it's really a game. I think it's an interesting idea, and that's it. It's the first game from this developer, so yeah, close that one. Actually, I don't think I have put a single game in the wishlist pile so far in this stream, in 2 hours of streaming plus. We have a game on Steam called Codename Ghost Hunt. Looks like maybe a cell phone port. It's a strategy action RPG game, turn-based XCOM-ish game. It's an online only game, so I can ignore it. It's 15% off for $2.54. I think most people could ignore it pretty easily. Maybe it's +1. And I know I have a card back for the Asian account, and I'm not even going to make it to the Asian account, so I'll save that for Wednesday. We have a game on Steam, O2 Jam X Dancing Party. Looks like it's an asset flip of just a bunch of merged assets, and maybe there's some rhythm game in there. I can't even tell if there actually is a rhythm game in here or how it would work. Looks like it's a VR game, so it's probably something like Beat Saber. It's $14.99, which is too expensive, and I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I think it's like the punching of beats instead of sabering of beats.
What to do? What to do?
Starlight.
PC Gamer has an article, turn-based roguelike Deep Sky Derelicts, leaving early access on September 26th. This is slightly interesting because this was the game that they were selling as Darkest Dungeon, but in space. It's $15.99 on Steam right now, and the price will go up after release. I'm not sure it's worth buying. Frankly, I think they're probably just like sending it out to die. Alright, let's actually... We're getting nowhere. Let's go ahead and switch to the Asian account while we're here and just open that card pack and try a little bit of everything. I've got to get at least one daily quest done today. At least then, if I only get one daily quest done today for each account, I then need to get another daily quest done tomorrow. So, yeah, that was gonna be a nightmare if that turns out to be the case. But I imagine
Hold on to your mug.
I can get
We're in
things
for a
done
wild night.
after the stream. Your Gamer has an interesting article. GameStop employees claim new Red Dead Redemption 2 demo put them to sleep. Says Rockstar Equestrian Simulator 2K19 is the subtitle here. Let's open this and then we'll play a hunter game. That'll be the last game we do. I think they may have lowered the odds of getting good cards back down because I was getting like epics like crazy one day. And now I'm not so much. Somehow I have 10 cards that need to be disenchanted. I don't know how that happened. But whatever. Just play a little hunter. Let's see. This on this and this and play. GameStop employees have been given an extended look at Red Dead Redemption 2, and some are reporting that the boring presentation put them to sleep. Quote, beautiful game, but mostly just saw horse riding simulator. Very difficult to stay awake. There was a shootout after a bank heist, but before the heist we saw 15 minutes of meandering through some woods and some plucky guitar playing. So yeah, it sounds like the presentation was pretty bad, but also that you could have 15 minutes of just riding through a horse through an area does not say great things about Red Dead Redemption 2. But I bet a lot of people buy it before, even if it is bad, a lot of people will buy it before they realize that it's a mistake. Let's see. Your Gamer has an article. Battlefield 5's PC open beta will have a profanity filter. It's actually sad that things like these are needed. I think inherently all systems need some kind of profanity filter of some sort. I don't know if you punish people who use profanity, or you just say, you just asterisk it out and then people can click a button to see the profanity if they want to, or confirm that they're over 18 and they can see the profanity. Like, I think YouTube kind of does a fine job on it. Like, I haven't gotten enough of a chat following that anybody got on there and said anything too nasty without getting banned pretty fast by me. Moving on. Gamatsu has the Caligula effect over their story trailer. I guess I do want to watch that. Let's see.
I don't have enough mana.
So I'm looking at the trailer and the guy says something about erase people's memories. And yeah, it's kind of like a Persona clone game, I think. Alright. Yeah, it's a 100% Persona clone game.
Job's done.
Interesting. Okay. The Caligula Effect Overdose is due for the PS4, Switch, and PC in early 2019 in North America and Europe. So it is coming to North America. Europe. Interesting. Game Master has an article, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy teases the next DLC character. They give a black silhouette. Tag Team Frenzy is due out September 6th. And Japan, September 7th in North America and Europe. Wasn't expecting them to end that quickly, so one more game. SNK 40th Anniversary Collection to add 10 free games post-launch. I'm pretty sure these games are not going to be super interesting. Chopper 1, Fantasy, Munch Mobile, Susuke versus Commander Time Soldiers. Yeah, the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection is a collection of a bunch of Japanese games that never, I think, came to the West and were so old anyways. I guess it's nice that they're out there, but it's kind of ridiculous too. Let's see, there's a game on Steam called Action Alien Tropical Mayhem. Let's see, it seems like it's a first-person shooter with a little bit of effort put into it, but I'd still say it's a pretty ugly looking game, pretty low effort looking game. 15% off for $3.39. I don't know why people even try to make first person shooters. Like, absolutely not. It's like, teachers should be telling the programmers, like, you do not make a first person shooter. Unless you are working for a AAA company and you have 100 people at least on your team, do not try to make a first-person shooter. That is the realm of AAA developers only. Because none of them come out good. Like, I cannot think of a single independent first-person shooter game that was a success, or a good game even, ever. Maybe you say Borderlands 1, but then Borderlands was also funded by 2K, so, you know, like, you could go back to Doom, the original Doom. That might be an argument as a small indie company coming out with a first-person shooter, but not since then. Eurogamer has an article, how Anthem puts single-player story into a multiplayer game, which I would be more willing to play Anthem if I heard it had a great story, but it still right now looks like it's got a really boring gameplay mechanics and just the way it looks. The whole game, everything I've seen of it makes it look boring. Let's see, this. This and that.
Job
I
done.
think I already talked about this video on Gamma Sutra. Not a lot of Gamma Sutra articles today. Video that game company shares how devs build cohesive teams. Yeah, I think I already talked about that. I was just holding on to that article. To see if maybe I could watch it later. Eurogamer has an article, play Counter-Strike Go, which the first time I saw that I thought, Counter-Strike Go? Is that like Warcraft Go? But they mean Global Offensive, obviously. I'm just misread it. Apparently, you can play it for free, but you can only play against bots. So, a free version of Valve's Counter-Strike Global Offensive is now available on Steam. The free version is unveiled in the CSGO's patch notes. I already own everything Valve has released, so I could already own Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I don't think I'd ever really get around to playing it though, so maybe I'll do like a 5-minute spotlight on it. And then Eurogamer has an article, are RPG Maker games as bad as you think? And the subtitle here is Engine Trouble. I would like to editorialize and say yes, they are as bad as you think. Let's see. See, many RPG Maker versions have been released over the years, and even the older ones are still in use. Having said that, the RPG Maker Steam tag has more or less contains 13 RPG Maker 2003 games, 67 RPG Maker XP games, 213 RPG Maker VX Ace games, 145 RPG Maker MV games, and 23 games made with other engines.
Let the dark in.
Quickly.
Which I think there's a lot more than that. Let's see.
Defend the gates!
Here's a part that says Steam reviews aren't truly indicative of the quality of the game, but a good instrument to gauge how a game is well received. These are the scores of all 559 games I analyzed, which this I do not believe in adds up to 554. Yeah, 30% had no score at all. 15 were mostly negative, 95 were mixed, 66 were mostly positive, 94 were positive, 89 were very positive, and 10 were overwhelmingly positive. Which I think that's kind of high, in my opinion. That seems higher than it really should be. Here's a paragraph that says they are really easy to identify, but the tag is lying to you. Steam tags are added by players and they aren't always knowledgeable about the game engines. 23 games marked as RPG Maker tag haven't been made with RPG Maker. None of those games have been made with Wolf RPG that are a freeware alternative to RPG Maker used in Japan. Others have been made with Game Maker or custom engines.
Glory to the Sindori!
Here's a paragraph. Some of the most popular RPG Maker games are the smutty ones. Yep. Of 559 games I analyzed, 54, 10% also bear the sexual content tag. Give me this, and this, and this, and this, and that. Let's see. The second to last paragraph of this article is, on Steam, the RPG Maker tag has reached a point where it doesn't represent an engine, but rather a genre with defined expectations. We've created a false association between the software, the kind of games it produces, their quality, ignoring a rich culture of creative ripping, artistic experiments, and fan games. If you want to try more imaginative RPG Maker games, then the RPGmaker.net and VG Person's websites are good places to start. And if after that you still think whole RPG Maker games are bad, perhaps you just have to accept that they simply are not for you. I think, yeah, they really aren't for me. I think RPGs that aren't at the highest of effort and quality just don't interest me. If you're gonna make an RPG, you're gonna need to have your own brand, your own engine. You're gonna have to put a lot of money in it. You're gonna have to have a lot of polish, and it's probably not gonna be a 8-bit NES looking game. Let's see, I'm at the Humble store right now. The digital tabletop bundle is still going. The average now is $6.06. I'm finding that these Humble Bundle average amounts don't seem to really go up much anymore, so that's slightly interesting. Also noticing Nightbot's not really doing much. Let's see. See if there's a new game out on Twitch Prime. Let's see. Get 400 bits if you watch Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan and get so you have to watch a TV show, you get 400 bits. I don't think that's worth it. Adventure Pals win. Pumped BMX win. Isn't that a new game? Strife Veteran Edition for Windows. I guess they're just marking everything as Windows now.
I dream and the world.
Yeah, I guess if you were looking at Twitch on a MacBook, Guild of Dungeoneering Windows. So yeah, there's like 6 games. Gunpoint for Windows, and some PUBG stuff, and some 500 bonus
Nice
bits.
little raptors.
Doing something else. So what does this do if I click claim offer? Watch an episode of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan on Prime Video by September 5th. Interesting. Let's see. As of Friday, September 14th, reruns and premieres will only be available once you become an affiliate. So, that might kill my my Twitch account. So much for a backup account. If I can't upload, things just automatically like I was doing, because you have to be an affiliate. I'm nowhere close to being an affiliate on Twitch, and I don't particularly care to become an affiliate on Twitch and jump through a bunch of hoops to potentially maybe make a few pennies. I don't even think I would. I'd much prefer to just get people to donate to my Patreon at this point. So now I'm back to my Twitter feed, and as I scroll down here, this will be our last game.
Nice little raptors.
For the stream. I'm just gonna have to play a lot. Let's see. This.
To my side. Done.
One new game that's not worth mentioning so far on my Twitter feed.
Nice little
I've
raptors.
only been streaming for a couple of hours anyway, so the chance that anything would happen would be pretty weird. You know what really sucks, and I just realized it, is that nearly a significant amount of my videos that are going to be airing are all going to have this starting statement of, it's been a while, I haven't played in a couple days, so I have to remind myself of what I'm doing. It's just, I've fallen behind so much. Final Fantasy XIV Online achieves 14 million player worldwide milestone. I don't think it's active players though, it's just signups. Is I think what that story was. I'm not even gonna open it. Let's see.
And rule its ashes.
Yeah, and just scrolling down my Twitter feed and not seeing anything. It is a laid-back Labor Day. Which Labor Day is just a wrong name. It really is the wrong name.
Nice little
They
raptors.
should call it Labor Appreciation Day or something along that. Well, I do believe one of my quests was to play spells, and I have like 9 more cards, and then I'll just quit. I think I probably got that quest done. Yeah, there's nothing even on the Twitter feed. Like, I'm already back to games I had already seen. I'm pretty sure. Unless Twitter is just acting wonky. I took apart my 5-year-old laptop, which I sadly did not use very much. I used it to stream a couple of games I was recording before I built the computer I'm using right now. But I really didn't get 5 years of use out of it. I bought it thinking I was going to need it, and then I really didn't. For a long amount of time there, I didn't really even use any computers, any kind of laptop.
The eternal hunt.
But I was taking it apart, and it was a high-end gaming laptop, so it wasn't like a bad system. It has SATA connections. So it's not a really old hard drive. I could put a new hard drive in it and put more space in it. It has an M2 slot. I was surprised by that. I was like, wait a minute. I knew there was 2 hard drives in this system, and one was an SST, but I didn't think for a second that one was going to be a M2 SSD. The M2 SSD unfortunately was only like 24 gigs, so a really small amount. It has a mini PCI Express connector for the wireless in router, not router but wireless in connection. So you could replace the RAM, you could replace the replace the hard drive, replace the SSD, you could replace the Wi-Fi, and you could have a moderately good updated system. It has either 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, so not terrible. It had a video card that was a gaming video card for mobile. So I'm in a weird point now where I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with it, one thing or another. And it's a real shame. It does have a I think dead batteries in it though, so there was definitely an issue where it was not powering on last time I tried to power it on. And I think that probably would run into some driver issues. It had Windows 8 on it originally. So need that and this, I guess. 10 mana.
I'm almost out of cards.
Let's see, I've got one more card. And I'm still just scrolling down my Twitter feed and there's literally nothing here. Nothing at all.
I'm out of cards.
Okay. Play this. Play this. Summon the strongest you can possibly find.
An easy target.
This guy still has a ton of cards left, so I'm just gonna run out of life. There I found something that I didn't talk about from 14 hours ago. Is Twitter just getting worse and worse? I suppose it wouldn't be horrible if I stopped using Twitter for everything except for what's on Steam. Like that would work, and then I would just have to have yet another system or where you follow video game developers, or video game developers are just going to learn their lesson and stop talking to people, which would be fine too. Although, you know, if video game developers did try to just stop talking to people and only talk through IGN and Kotaku and Polygon and things like that, ooh boy, would that turn a lot of people off who don't like those sites. But they could certainly come down to a point where they just say all of our announcements are going to be directly through our website. I have 2 more cards to play next turn, and then I'm gonna end it. Well, I don't even know if I need to end it. Oddly, somehow I might win here. This player is just not playing. Alright, and I just hit the very bottom of my Twitter feed. Let's see. Crypto Necrodancer developer Brace Yourselves Game is now working on a mech strategy game, Phantom Brigade, with Tetragon Works. Okay. Interesting enough, I suppose. Let's see. I have no idea what this guy's doing other than just letting me win. or if he's got some kind of like crazy dead man's hand idea card combination, or if he's just playing some kind of extreme control. I have no idea what this guy's doing. He should have been able to win a long time ago. And look, he just needs to end this turn and I'll lose anyways. I'm gonna draw 5 fatigue.
What now?
We don't need to sit here and watch that. I did accomplish one goal though. So all across each of the 3 accounts, I've got work to do. I need to get at least, like, ideally what I'd want to do is play 40 even cost cards in this case and save this and re-roll it tomorrow. And then Wednesday is just going to be a little bit longer. Anyways, that's going to be it for this stream. Not a lot of news, not a lot to talk about. When I did get into a rant, it was the same old, same old. I'm so tired of it, of that, but I don't know what to do about it. Frankly, that's kind of all the video game world is these days. Maybe Tokyo Game Show will be a bright spot when it happens. I've got a lot of work to do all over the place. Many different things I got to schedule. I've got to edit. I've got to play Hearthstone. So much work to do. Truly, Labor Day is going to be a Labor Day for me. That's it for the stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game, or you can click the Patreon link down in the description and donate that way. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.